Hello and Aussie greetings from me today in Wellington, New Zealand. It's great to have you here. We are doing Inspire Your Best Style, Your Best Life Through Your Style today. So this is an interaction rather than a presentation. You are welcome to sit back and enjoy or to engage on whichever platform you're viewing this on, LinkedIn or Facebook. And at the end, I'll share how you can work with me to bring the power of style to your life and work. And I'll stay to answer your questions and respond to your comments. So I'd love to hear where you are joining from today so people can see, get an idea of this global audience that we have joining us. It's amazing to have this opportunity. And let me start by telling you what will be, what my experience has been in pulling this together. I'm going to share a few stories about me, including some that will, that will, I hope, inspire you. It's been an absolute joy to pull this together. I completely lost track of time at one point as I was sitting here with a smile on my face, enjoying these incredible ideas and concepts that I get to work with every day. So this one is really personal to me. It is actually a lot to do with what drove me to understand and develop my own style and then to become a personal stylist. So thank you for joining me. We often hear that style is frivolous and you shouldn't spend too much time thinking about what you look like. But the secret is that women who have arrived at powerful style and feel powerful in their life often tell me that this is more important than people realize, that the way we look, how we dress, how we style ourselves is actually more important than most people think. And when you think that you could go through life catching a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and thinking, "Oh, I look good," and feeling great about being seen, that's a life where you don't have the niggles and annoyances of a daily questioning and daily stress around what you're wearing. So it makes intuitive sense that it's so nice, so easy, so freeing to feel fantastic in what you wear. And there are three beautiful ways that your style inspires your best life. And today we have something a little interactive for you. If you want to join in, I have a Google Doc with a couple of questions that you can respond to as you're enjoying the presentation. And your contributions will give others insights and ideas. So the Google Doc link to find that is actually on the event information. I can't, because of the way LinkedIn and Facebook are set up, I can't actually respond to your comments here. Great to see you joining in. LinkedIn user from New Jersey, 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia. Incredible. That's so cool. Do you know, someone asked me this week if I knew someone in New Jersey? So great coincidence. Um, and yeah, so if you wanted to, because I can respond like that. I can respond to what you've said in the chat. I can't actually, literally because of the way LinkedIn and Facebook are set up, I can't actually type a comment back to you. So I can't drop the link. So I've put that into the event information on LinkedIn and on Facebook. If you go there, you will see that. You can just drop your answers in. And yeah, this document here, which I've got up, is the document that you'll find. You'll be completely anonymous when you go in there. There is no way to track you, even in the version history I've checked. So I'm really curious. I'm writing a book about this very topic, and your responses will help me decide what to include there. Fantastic. So firstly, style can have a very real effect on your ability to focus and to be creative. I've talked about this elsewhere, so I'm not going to dwell on it today, but literally there will be times in your life when you would like to be more creative or more focused, and your style could help. So let me know if you want links to those conversations. Really happy to share them. And there's two other main ways. And the first is that style inspires your best life by boosting your mood. Three aspects to that. Firstly, wearing beautiful designs is like surrounding yourself with a symphony of uplifting melodies that enhance your mood in this world that we live in. So just as listening to music can resonate with your soul, lift your spirits, adorning yourself or wearing designs that you feel are gorgeous or chic or edgy or elegant or whatever you feel fantastic in and whatever brings you joy and beauty, that can have that really gorgeous similar effect. So wearing these aesthetically pleasing outfits acts as a daily dose of inspiration. And if you're a woman in leadership, then you have demands in your life and you could do with a boost of joy and with confidence. So imagine if your style was a daily source of joy that lifted your mood simply because you are surrounded by beauty. There is some amazing research from Rome. Not that it was done not that long ago, 2019, that showed when people see pieces of beauty, our brain responds as if we were experiencing a reward. We get a boost, we get pleasure, and that boost to our mood is literally just from seeing beautiful things. So that we think of sunsets, we think of mountains, we think of rare flowers, these striking beauties that would boost our mood. But we tend to have this strange block about style. And I think that's because it's so personal. For some reason, we don't think of style in that way as enhancing the beauty that we see around us. Uh, but a study from 2012 found that clothing influences the wearer's mood because 2,000 women in that study said that they knew that they could alter their mood by changing what they wore. So if you can't choose the design of your workspace or your public areas where you have to walk through each day, your style is designed that you can choose on a daily basis. And bringing that beauty into your life puts you at ease, boosts your mood. It's another reason why style is not frivolous. And I will check back in the chat. Fantastic. Thank you, Camille. Absolutely. Sorry you can't do the activity because you're on your phone. I totally understand. Yes, great that it's caught your attention and might have been something of interest that you would like to join in. So I will see how we could fix that up for next week. So if I do that next week. Now this is me on national TV live. I gave myself a little boost in this moment. I literally wore 4-inch shooties. So you have probably come across them before. They're shoes with leather all the way to the ankle, and I wore these 4-inch heels. They were shoes that I had bought in celebration of landing a significant consulting engagement in my work as a management consultant. So they reminded me of this great success in my life, and they gave me a boost, not only because they made me taller, but they spoke this subtle message back to me about being successful, about being successful in the very work that I was representing myself for on TV. And so many women hear the opposite message from their style, that they are less than in some way. And excuse me, I've been fighting a sore throat this week. I really want more for all of us. So what if we saw style instead as self-care, just like going to the hairdresser or doing our nails, and we made sure that our style reinforced our positive messages that we want to hear each day. You're powerful, you're worth it, you're awesome, by intentionally curating that message from our style. That would be when style would be a daily reminder of our value and of our worth, and that is inspirational. And yes, when I say worth, you might think that's spending thousands of dollars, and you might spend thousands of dollars on a gorgeous bag because you're worth it. But it's also in the little choices, the unseen things that you notice more than others, and in how you approach your style in your life. It sounds like I'm about to cry. I'm not. It's just my throat's been like this. So those little things could be a twice yearly routine of changing out your clothes for the season. It could be that quarterly shopping trip with your stylist while you're building out your looks. It could be a weekly routine of choosing looks for the week ahead that helps you to feel poised and ready. And the daily choice as well to wear something that feels aligned with your day and how you want to show up. These intentional style choices are self-care rituals like going to the hairdresser, reading a book, or getting an annual checkup. It's the intention that counts. That's when our style becomes a daily positive contribution to our self-perception, which radiates from within. Excuse me. I do have some water here. I'm going to just have a sip of water. Amazing. Oh, yes, indeed. I know what you're saying, Camille. That that our attire can lift our mood and bring joy. I just love this. And wait till we get a little bit further in, and you'll see that scientists actually validate that as well. Not just from that research, but something we're all very familiar with. Um, so there's one other thing to say, and that is that we are not the only ones who get a lift by enjoying gorgeous designs. You know what it's like when you see someone wear a yellow jacket, like, oh, that's a beautiful jacket. That looks amazing on you. And it's just lifted everyone. This gives us a chance to be a rainbow in someone else's day. So imagine that you're asked to a high profile speaking gig like I was, and you think, I know exactly what I'll wear. Now, when I had the opportunity that I just mentioned, I was excited and I was nervous. I described it like being in a washing machine. But the question, what will I wear, was never part of my thinking. I had several outfits that I knew I would feel aligned, authentic, and confident in, and they were all TV appropriate. I just had to pick which one. In the end, I didn't realize I was choosing colors that aligned with their set. That was not intentional. But my preparation was all about what I would be asked and what I would say. I never once questioned that I would look on point or represent my brand faithfully. I knew I could do that. So these kind of style choices that we make intentionally that feel fantastic to wear are like this suit of armor that empowers you to face challenges with confidence. And I think that's what Marilyn Monroe meant when she said, give a girl the right kind of shoes and she will rule the world. And it's certainly a myth that we need others' approval before feeling confident. And I think that's one of these big myths around style is that people think that they are styling themselves for others' approval. But in fact, confidence doesn't come from being approved of by other people, it comes from stepping into our own power and seeing ourselves do things that we are proud of, things that we dreamed of doing. It's taking that step of courage and then seeing yourself be the person that you wanted to be. So, excuse me, what opportunities would you say yes to with delight if you had that boost to your mood where style contributed to your well-being, your self-concept, and supported you to take courageous steps that boost your confidence? So the second powerful way that style inspires our best life is by boosting our message. Excuse me, and this is a lot more than first impressions. That's certainly important. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time on that. First impressions are like, excuse me, the cover of a book. Just as could, a book's cover can catch your eye and draw you in, a leader's first impression sets the tone for how they'll be perceived and received. And as women in leadership, our first impressions shape how others approach and engage with us. So imagine a life where people instantly understood what you're about. I am a constant learner and I've always got a book on the go, or usually four, uh, and kind of go between them, and sometimes a course as well. And I'm experimenting with putting my courses on a new e learning platform. I wanted to see what the learner experience is like. So earlier this week, I found an offer, a course that looked interesting, and the coach had excellent credentials. She was a 9-time #1 international best-selling author, had 27 appearances in Forbes, has won White House awards and many other awards and marks of her status. And I was quite excited. And then I clicked on the trailer and I saw a woman who looked out of place. If I hadn't known, I would have thought she was poolside in the Bahamas. She was eminently qualified, no doubt, but she looked like someone on a summer holiday who had just come back in from a barbecue with a gin and tonic in hand. And it created confusion for me. A lot just really didn't add up. And a confused mind doesn't act. So I went looking for another opportunity. I just didn't know quite what to do with this, and it didn't hang together. I decided to go elsewhere. And that's the power of first impressions. Regardless of how fast it happens, our fast thinking makes an instinctive decision, and people actually hold on to those first impressions, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, according to Psychology Today. So imagine if that incredible woman I mentioned had turned up looking completely on point elevated in line with her elite resume and the context that she'd created in my mind about being this powerful, professional, um, incredibly wonderful educator that I was hoping to learn from. I had actually been sold on working with her until she unsold me. So that's the power of a first impression. And in this area, it can be annoying, to say the least, that you can feel competent and confident in a million other areas, but not quite know how to pull together a look that feels aligned and affirming. And it's like being at the top of Maslow's hierarchy, living in that self actualization, living out your purpose, but then dipping back for 10 minutes in the morning when you try to work out what to wear and you're wrangling something together and you feel at the minimum annoyed and at the worst totally out of alignment. But who in your teams or amongst your clients needs that strong first impression from you to be able to trust you with their next step? So that's where, yeah, I guess the self-esteem piece is actually, it's in that layer that we need beauty, that we have a need for aesthetic and for beauty. And self-esteem, that's that confidence, it's that self-respect, that self-belief. And these are all questions that we have when we just can't pull an outfit together that we feel fantastic about wearing that day. So that's, on the flip side, why having your style together is really empowering and helps you to live that incredible, inspired life. So there is a myth that personal style is about pretending, but it's not. It's about aligning, not pretending. It's not trying to be someone you're not. It's more about being more of who you are. And that's why we hear from people like Stella McCartney that personal style starts from within, it's about being honest and true to yourself. And from Donna Karan, who says personal style comes from within. It is about expressing who you are and how you feel. And I have many other quotes like this from designers and from celebrities, showing how central it is to connect with our true selves to have great style. In leadership, we tend to value self awareness very highly, and we go to great lengths to understand others and to be clearly understood. So let's bust another myth that dressing in your power is about coming across strong. It's not necessarily. It's about affirming your best self. It's about affirming who you truly are, which might be captured actually by being someone who's quite reflective, or who's very gentle and amenable, or who's really creative and dynamic, or perhaps actually quite forceful and helps to move things forward. So imagine a life where people understood your core personality. When I lived in the UK in my early 20s, I spent money on clothes, a lot of money on clothes. By that time, I had already spent many thousands on clothes, and I didn't know my own style. Despite buying a lot of clothes I loved, I was still experimenting. And then something happened that caused me to sit up and take notice. A friend offered to make me a bag, and she assured me that she knew my style. I was a little bit nervous. I thought this could end up awkwardly. And she made me this soft pastel floral bag that had no structure. And it was so outside my style that I honestly didn't know how to graciously receive it. And I thought, is that what she thinks I'm like? Because she had assured me, I know your style. Don't worry, I'm going to make it just how you like it. And this is really what she thought I would love. And it wasn't her fault. To be honest, I was still finding my voice, and I was not assertive on the outside to the degree that I felt on the inside. So it showed me there was a gap between my internal and my external, and how I think she was taking cues from what I wore. And she saw me to be a different person than I really felt myself to be. And I could see that in the way that she styled me with that bag, the way that she styled that bag to suit me. So I started choosing differently from that point on. I wore stronger colors, stripes, patterns, structures, actually a really key part of my style. I really wanted to be authentically aligned. I wanted to be more readily understood through my style. And as you know, I went on into leadership and really enjoyed the benefits of that and was promoted to director role. But the difference was that I was actually really being authentic with myself, and I still have pieces from that time. So I know that was really tapping into my authenticity. My style synergy types enable women to connect with their inner world and their outer world through their style, and that's just one way that you can do it. So, how much more ease and how many more frictionless moments could you enjoy by wearing style that's aligned with who you are? The way we dress is a visual representation of our true selves. And so, there is one more way where style supports our message, and that is through these subtle influences. Now, imagine if you heard through the grapevine that people say of you that you've really got it together. And I can't tell you how many executives and business coaches I have heard talk about the fact that the way people dress is a signal to their teams and their clients. And one woman said it to me recently very clearly. She said, the way you dress is the quickest way to help people realize they are in the wrong room. So it's like when you walk down a busy street, you're scanning restaurants and bars and deciding which one to walk into. And you think, which one suits me? Where will I feel great? What's the kind of environment that's going to be just right for me? And if you're having a jeans day, then you know that you'll feel out of place if everyone else is dressed to the nines. So our dress code is a code to everyone else. It's a way to non-verbally communicate the way things are done around here. And it's a subtle form of influence. Just like we get cues from how people are dressed in uniform or how they dress on stage and TV, we know something about that person. We know something about their role. We can instantly understand what to expect next. So, who in your world needs a clearer message about the way we do things around here? And how would your life change if they got a message from you that they need to stand up and take notice? Style is like a silent language that speaks volumes without saying a word. And I just want to tell you one last story that pulls all this together. I was recently the lead presenter on a tender bid for a very large corporate, and I walked in wearing a Trellis Cooper skirt. This just gives you an idea of the taste. It's quite flouncy, super feminine, big patterns, lots of material in her designs. And my skirt was no different. It was a corporate black, navy, and plaid version of something like this, but it had flounce, it had femininity. I wore it with court shoes, I wore it with a plain white top and a black jacket. And I knew that it was occasion appropriate and culture appropriate. It was saying, I get what this organization's about, and I'm here to bring value. I'm here to be that top tier transformational person who is ready to deliver on whatever this situation needs to do above and beyond. But I was also stepping into my power, leading a conversation and not being a shrinking violet. The skirt is huge, like it's quite big, and it makes quite a big impression. So there is a huge opportunity in communicating visually through how we dress. We often think that influence and persuasion is around our language and the choice of words, but actually we've got this wonderful capacity to communicate in an instant through what we wear. So imagine if your style communicated a story about you in such a way that it built trust, that it was authentic and congruent with who you are, that it inspired you to be in your best mood, that it helped you to be creative and focused when you need to be. Would all of that help you to live your best, most inspired life? And I bet it would. Ultimately, style represents an opportunity to live with intention, to give that deliberate approach to style, and to experience the benefits back into your life. So, if you'd like to bring that beauty into your life with intention, I would love to make that happen for you. And this is why women work with me, to enjoy that gorgeous feeling of being invigorated and inspired by their style. And whether you want a complete transformation, a fresh perspective, tools you can use every day, or just a few new ideas, we always start with what you want to achieve and how you want to get there. And there's two main pathways: styling or coaching. And people trust me to work with because they've seen that I've got a 5-star Google rating, lots of happy and content clients. I've been online and local for 7.5 years, and my color analysis process, for example, has been online and remote right from the beginning because I can make that more accurate. I'm certified. I've had hundreds of clients, excuse me, and I have innovative ways to help you to arrive at that clarity and the wardrobe that you feel fantastic wearing. Clients will typically feel aligned and empowering in their looks. They find there's a lot less friction in their day. They love this strong first impression they get to create, the feeling of congruence and taking control of that personal narrative. And this is some of the beautiful comments that clients of mine have said. So, a next step for you, if you wanted to take that up, would be to apply for a call. We have a collaborative chat and we just talk about what your best next steps will be. And if that's something other than working with me, then I let you know. So, you can drop me a direct message, say, tell me more, and we can start a conversation. Or you may want to stay updated with my free, free and paid courses, which will go online in the next few weeks. And you can message me courses for that. Next week, um, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Ruth. I'm sorry, I've just seen these beautiful comments. Love it. So glad it's inspiring. And you can join me next week for hot tips for traveling in style for female executives. It will actually be 1 hour later. So I got caught out by daylight savings time, and this is currently 4:30 Pacific and 7:30 Eastern time. But next week we'll be back to 5:30 Pacific, 8:30 Eastern. And I'll be sharing in that a snippet of content from my paid course. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.